What your doctor doesn't want to tell you. It's actually possible to reverse type 2 diabetes in less than 90 days. Controversial short video shows you how. Turn up your speakers and watch until the end. Let's be honest about it. Diabetes has crept up on you. None of us ever think it'll happen. None of us plan to end up diabetic. Even if you think you're a picture of health, diabetes can get you. But here's the thing. Until now, you've been fed a bunch of lies about it. You've been told it's a lifelong condition. You've been told it's not curable. You've been told you'll be taking insulin every day for the rest of your life. Well, the truth is it really doesn't have to be that way. Keep watching because in this short but controversial presentation, I'll reveal the undeniable facts and truths about diabetes that the medical mafia would do anything to stop you finding out. You'll see why your doctor won't reveal the truth to you. You'll see exactly how your diabetes is strangling your body's chance of being healthy. And you'll find out how people just like you are reversing their type 2 diabetes with a breakthrough their doctor would never reveal to them in a million years. That's why it's so important you pay close attention right now. This is not something you'll see elsewhere. I want to do my moral duty and show you the truth. It's raw and it might be tough to swallow, but it's real. And it's the reason that it felt like you just accidentally started suffering with type 2 diabetes. But you won't hear it from a doctor or medical professional because it's in the medical industry's best interest to keep the patients in the dark about certain things. Why? So they can make more money. Medicine is a business, and business is booming. Now, before we get into it, I need to make you a little promise. What you'll see during this short documentary will be controversial. It may be hard for you to take, and it'll definitely go against the conventional wisdom out there. In fact, at first it may frighten you a little bit. But listen, stick with it. Hear me out. I promise you'll be glad you did. Because once you understand what I'm sharing, you'll really know how to get the better of your diabetes and start grabbing your health back. Sound like a deal? Great, because diabetes is no joke. Now, as much as your doctor wants you to believe otherwise, type 2 diabetes is not permanent. More and more recent studies are showing otherwise. So you'll see it's more than possible. Trouble is, almost nobody in the country knows we can get rid of it. And that's a problem, because not only can it cause horrifying medical issues like blindness and foot problems like this, it can also kill you. And the real problem there is that 30 million Americans have it. And according to multiple studies, the numbers are still rising. As you can see on this graph from the Centers for Disease Control, diabetes is still rapidly rising. So what are we supposed to do? We go to the doctor. What does he do? He prescribes us insulin. How long are you supposed to take that for? The rest of your life, every single day. You see, insulin doesn't fight the diabetes at all. It just helps you live with it. And if you think about it, that's crazy. It's like going to the doctor and saying, "Hey doc, I have a headache all day, every day." And the doctor says, "Okay, take some ibuprofen every day for the rest of your life." That's bananas, right? But if you're diabetic, he'll get you to take insulin for the rest of your life without even blinking. Why? Because insulin is a whole lot more expensive than ibuprofen. Average monthly prices range from something like $250 all the way up to $500. And they're steadily rising, having doubled for most people in the last 5 or 6 years. That's thousands of dollars a year just to stay alive. And all that money goes into the medical industry, keeps Big Pharma rich, and makes sure your doctor gets his kickback. So you see, keeping you diabetic generates a fortune for the medical industry, and it's a business. It's like a dealer giving you that first hit of heroin for free, because after that, he knows you'll be coming back all the time. So that's exactly what your doctor does. All that money goes right to the top of the pharmaceutical food chain, and it trickles down until it reaches your doctor. Did you know they get bonuses and incentives for recommending one drug or another? That's why you take the insulin you do, because somebody lined your doctor's pockets to get you to use that brand instead of a different brand. That's why it's in your doctor's best interest to keep you reliant on insulin, because it pays for his Porsche, it pays for his summer house, It pays for his wife's diamonds. You get the picture. Clearly, the medical industry does not have your best interests at heart. So, what else are you to do? You could make drastic life changes. You could give up all the things you love. But then, what sort of life will you have? Or you could stick your head in the sand and hope you don't wind up dying 18 years early like a lot of diabetics do, or losing your feet through too much sugar in your blood. Thankfully, there's a new option. It's called reverse diabetes. Why is it called that? Because it contains a simple plan that may help you reverse your type 2 diabetes and put it into remission in the next 21 to 30 days. Imagine that. Imagine if the last time you went to the doctor to re-up your prescription, it was really the last time. Imagine no longer being at risk from the 6 or 7 biggest killers in the entire USA. Heart disease, strokes, Alzheimer's, high blood pressure, and all the others. They're all made much worse if you're diabetic. Heck, you have a much greater chance of getting those conditions if you're diabetic. How many years would you add to your life if you got rid of your diabetes? According to the most recent studies, something like 15 to 18. Imagine being healthy enough to once again play with your grandkids, to get into the kind of shape you know you deserve. And aside from all the health stuff, imagine how much money you'd save. If you're paying $500 for insulin each month and you suddenly didn't need it anymore, you'd save $60,000 over the next 10 years. That's enough to buy a new car with cash, a nice car, or to pay your mortgage for 5 years. So, what exactly is reverse diabetes? Reverse Diabetes is a brand new, downloadable ebook designed to get your diabetes into remission as quickly as possible. It's packed full of cutting-edge research, exactly the type of useful information your doctor will never tell you. Think about it for a moment. Your doctor has hundreds of patients, maybe even thousands. Almost all of them suffer from some kind of medical issue. Could be anything from colds and sickness to cancer, to heart problems, to depression and stress. There are literally thousands of different conditions your doctor has to stay on top of to keep up with his thousands of patients. So if you think about it, do you really think he has time to read about the latest studies and research on diabetes? Probably not. When you think about it that way, it's very easy to imagine why your doctor maybe doesn't know the information contained inside reverse diabetes, isn't it? Now keep watching, because in just a moment you'll see something that's revolutionary and may prove that everything the medical community knows about diabetes is completely wrong. But first, here's just a little of what's inside reverse diabetes. The blood sugar secret the pharmaceutical industry are desperate for you not to find out. Why you develop diabetes in the first place. How people are restoring their insulin response to 90% of normal within just 21 days by following a simple plan. Why even healthy food is making your diabetes worse, but it's doing it under the radar. The common herb that's believed to greatly improve your diabetes. What sugar is really doing to you. It goes way beyond being diabetic, and you can find it in hundreds of foods you thought were healthy. Are you on the seafood diet, where you see food and then you want to eat it? Page 341 shows you how to break that cycle. Why being a certain type of diabetic reduces your immune system by 75%. What happens to your body within 1 hour of drinking a can of soda? And it's not pretty. Page 211. And it's worse. What happens when you drink a can of diet soda? This is just as scary, even though it's supposed to be healthy. How you're accidentally eating 39 pounds of sugar a year. Why the FDA absolutely cannot be trusted. This will make you teeth-grindingly angry, but you'll be so glad you found out the truth. Page 257. The real relationship between sugar, white flour, and diabetes, and why the U.S. Department of Agriculture are too chicken to tell you the truth. Why diabetes is not permanent, as shown by more and more research. The trace elements and nutrients that are vital for your body to get rid of diabetes, but are missing from almost every diet in the USA. Why your hormones could be completely out of whack and causing your diabetes, even if your doctor is already testing you and telling you it's fine. Why doctors mess up most thyroid tests, page 313. Why eating more fat can actually help you get rid of your diabetes. How to break the cycle of your diabetes using 3 simple to understand techniques, page 332. delicious diabetic recipes that still taste like normal food, but will help you get your blood sugar under control. Why Harvard School of Public Health say that 9 out of 10 cases of type 2 diabetes can be prevented. Simple techniques that have been shown to lose body fat and reverse the effects of type 2 diabetes on your body. What happens to your body when you don't eat for 6 hours, and why it's great for diabetes and is also believed to help prevent Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. The raw herbs and nutrients that are not only delicious, but you can eat and add to your meals to see almost immediate reductions in your blood sugar. How to eat at the exact right times that will lower blood sugar and make you torch off fat like a furnace. And much more. You'll wish your doctor had handed you this the day he told you had diabetes. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I'm talking about being overweight, obesity, big boned, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty common knowledge that diabetes goes arm in arm with having a few extra pounds. Unless you have type 1 diabetes, which is a genetic condition and can affect anybody. Although there's definitely stuff inside it that will be beneficial for somebody with type 1 diabetes. Reverse diabetes is mostly aimed at type 2 diabetes sufferers. But generally speaking, there aren't too many skinny diabetics. And there's a reason for that. You see, the actual medical definition of diabetes is having too much sugar, known medically as glucose, in your blood. And this happens for one of two reasons. 1. In type 1 diabetes, your pancreas doesn't produce any or enough insulin. Or 2. In type 2 diabetes, your body is becoming immune to insulin, so you need more of it than your body produces, which is why you need injections. So it's all about the insulin. But listen, insulin is a hormone. Your body produces about 50 different hormones and they all have a specific job to do. But they work together in a big and complex network. And even the most cutting-edge science doesn't understand the whole story, how they work with each other and how the whole network functions. But what we do know is that every hormone is affected by every other hormone. So the fact that your insulin is out of whack is affecting every single part of your body and every single function being performed inside you. What does that mean? It means your body can't process calories properly. It means you're getting hunger signals when you're not hungry, except your body thinks you are, so you eat. It could also mean that you're not getting enough calories, because diabetes can also make you feel like you don't need to eat and suppress your appetite. This article explains exactly why that is. And that puts your system into starvation mode, which means you actually gain weight because your body is clinging to every single little bit of fat that it can. Basically, having your hormones out of sync like that is the same as having a flat tire on your car. Sure, the other 3 wheels are fine, but you still can't drive the car because everything is affected by that flat tire. And it's the same with insulin. Having problems with insulin messes up the balance of all the other hormones. It's like a house of cards. And because insulin is in charge of your metabolism, it might be the most important hormone. So removing insulin is like grabbing a card from the bottom of the house of cards. Everything will collapse. And that means that once you've got diabetes, you're almost predestined to gain weight. A lot of weight. This study shows that once your body stops processing insulin properly, then you'll actually have both sugar and fat swirling around in your bloodstream. And that's pretty gross to think about, but the results are even worse. This type of fat will stick to your belly and your midsection. If you've got belly fat or an apple-shaped body, it's because of this.